incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. It was something the Rams have been waiting for all summer. Quarterback Matthew Stafford, back from a back injury, practiced today for the first time at training camp. Coach Sean McVay, when asked about his confidence level in Stafford being ready for week 1, said he thinks that would be putting the cart way before the horse. Browns named Joe Flacco their starting QB for the season opener. He'll have plenty of company in that Cleveland quarterback room, believes ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter.
They always were going to keep Joe Flacco. They always were going to keep both rookies, who, by the way, I think could draw some interest around the league. And then Kenny Pickett would be the fourth guy. And there are just enough teams that still need quarterback help. And so they're holding on to a commodity, an asset. That's what quarterbacks are.
Kenny Pickett and those rookies, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, competing for the backup job. 6 days after left thumb surgery, it was back to practice today for Packers quarterback Jordan Love. Defending national champion, third-ranked Ohio State named Julian Sayin its starting quarterback for week 1 against top-ranked Texas.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Tuesday. I'll tell you the 5 teams most likely to improve this upcoming season. It's unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
Chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Tigers were on the practice field. Saints and Jags played a game yesterday. They tied. Saints traded a defensive lineman. We're going to get to watch a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium on Saturday night. Crazy. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Tigers practice Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. Media not allowed to attend. They were back on the practice field on Monday. The most important thing I can tell you from Saturday's scrimmage is there were no injuries. As I was told, no significant injury whatsoever to any starter, second team, or rotational platoon guy. So first and foremost, that's what you want coming out of any type of scrimmage or practice less than 2 weeks from the opener. So the Tigers got that. After Saturday's scrimmage, Tigers had a recovery day on Sunday, and then they were back on the practice field Monday. We, media, got to watch about 15 minutes of practice. And normally 15 minutes, especially at the beginning, you just don't see very much. It's a lot of, individual group work, calisthenics, just loosening up a little bit. This, however, was very eventful, 15 minutes, not because of all they did, but because of what we saw. And I want to dive into this as we start here. I will tell you there has been a change. We were supposed to get practice access Tuesday and meet Brian Kelly afterwards. That was going to be the end of our availability. They've changed that. We will not have access Tuesday. We will talk to Brian Kelly. We will not have access Thursday or Friday. But they are going to let us watch Saturday night at 7:30 in Tiger Stadium, which is wild to think that we're going to get to watch this team scrimmage a week before the opener. So I'm pumped about it. It's a big change for tomorrow, but it'll be great for Saturday. We'll look forward to it. Monday, however, there was a really, right when we walk in the doors, and they're at the indoor facility, helmet, shoulder pads, girdles, so they were not in full pads. So really intense scrimmage on Saturday, recovery day Sunday. They were back at it Monday, helmet, shoulder pads in the indoor. And right when we walk in, they start the practice customarily with an offensive ready period, is what Joe Sloan calls it. And it's just they're running a no-huddle, almost like hurry-up, no-huddle drill, just on the ball, go, 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 just a tempo period against air. And the first thing that you notice is there was a change on the offensive line. And the five-star freshman, Karius Kern, was running first-team right tackle. Now, I want to remind you that Kern was the five-star number one interior offensive lineman in the country. He showed up in spring ball and was immediately working as the second-team left tackle. Now, this is a guy that's listed at 6'5", 320, and can do a backflip. So if you're worried about the athleticism, the athletic ability to play tackle, I don't think they're worried about that. I think he's got plenty of it. But this is the first time that we have seen him play on the right side. So here you are, less than 2 weeks from the opener, and a true freshman is getting reps the first team at right tackle. Now, they ran that hurry-up period, then they had a scout look. So it was the first offense against a scout look defense, and Kern ran a few plays with the ones, and then Weston Davis rotated in and finished with the ones. For what it's worth, Davis was running with the twos in that no-huddle period. So I don't know that we should read too much into this, but it does affirm something Brian Kelly told us on Friday. Remember, I asked Brian Kelly because there's been a lot of rotation in this fall camp. And I asked him on Friday, is there a point where you start to name starters and pare down the reps? Because typically you want there to be competition, then you identify your starters, you want your starters to get all the reps. So I asked him, are you going to name starters and start to pare this down?
No, I want to continue the competition. I think it brings out the best in everybody, and some of our areas of concern last year were that we didn't have any depth and we didn't have that competition and we couldn't keep the, a sharpness, if you will. And so we're going to continue to keep the reps in a manner that allows competition for all players.
True to his word. The first time we got to look at him after that comment, they're out there with a new starting offensive line. I don't know that I'm going to read too much into this. It could very well be they just want to get Kern reps on the right side as a platoon in case if someone goes down, they have to shift, that he's actually taking reps on the right side. Maybe Kern is the sixth lineman, like he'd be the first tackle to go in if something happened. I don't know. We'll have an opportunity to talk to Brian Kelly on Tuesday, and I can ask him that question. But that competition and rotation is clearly still happening. And I also want to remind you, a little more than a week ago, we spoke to Joe Sloan. I believe it was Friday before last. And I asked Sloan to give an assessment of the offensive line. I left it intentionally very open-ended. I said, give me your assessment of the offensive line. This is what he said.
Obviously, have a lot of competition at guard. And I think you're seeing flashes of different guys daily who are playing really well. I think our tackles, the two guys coming into spring, where those two guys are going to be first-year starters. And I think definitely when you watch, they have been excellent. Excellent in terms of their growth, right? They got to keep coming. They got to get better every day. But I've been really pleased with what they've done. And I think Braylon's played extremely good at center. And I think we have a couple other guys who could, we have some depth at center, which is nice. And then I think, you see some of the young guys who are now starting to come on. I think this is the second half of camp where you'd like to see some of the freshmen or second-year players start to push and take that next step and challenge some of the guys that maybe are in front of them right now.
That is a pretty all-encompassing bite, no? He said there's competition to guards. Braylon established himself at center, and some of the younger guys are pushing here in the second half of camp. True to form, there's Karius Kern. What's interesting is he talked about the tackles. He's like, the tackles have been excellent in their growth. And up until this point, we had only seen Tyree Adams at left and Weston Davis at right. It really felt like three of those jobs were solidified, and here you are less than 2 weeks before the opener, and there might be a little bit of a shakeup. So something we'll ask about and we'll watch as we move through this week, the final week before they are into game week for Clemson. A couple of other tidbits from Monday's workout. Nussmeier has ditched the sleeve on his left knee. You'll all be very pleased to know. He was out there in tights, though, purple tights, but no sleeve on the left knee. Apparently the patellar tendonitis that is the aggravation, or as Kelly said, he pissed it off. Apparently it's no longer pissed off. That's good. Obviously of note, when we looked at the defense, there was no Harold Perkins. I was told after practice it is not injury related. I was not given an explanation, only that it is not injury related. But Perkins was not there today, and that's obviously notable. Jordan Gilbert replaced him with the first team at star. Also, Whit Weeks was there, but was not participating. He was in a helmet, jersey, athletic shorts, or gym shorts, and tennis shoes. So whenever the first team defense was going, first team defense against a scout offense, he was standing back at the goal line, basically looking at the back of the defense, taking, I guess, mental reps with his helmet on, but was not participating. Brian Kelly said last week, load management for guys like Nuss and in Weeks. I'm not going to have him practice 5 days in a row, he said. So you want to give him a day off? Fine. Just have him ready to go against Clemson. Michael Van Buren had on his throwing hand, had his index finger and his middle finger taped together. Again, we didn't get to speak to anybody, so no explanation given. But Colin Hurley, Michael Van Buren. If you combined him, you get Colin Van Hurley. But Colin Hurley took the reps with the twos. And anything else? This was how the first defense lined up, for whatever it's worth. And this changes so fluidly. But today, when they went first team defense against a scout offense, look, this was your first team defense. Your tackles were Dom McKinley and Jacobian Guillory. Your ends were Jack Pyburn and Gabe Relaford. Your linebackers were West Weeks and Devon Keys, obviously with no Whit. Jordan Gilbert was at the star. Your first-team corners were Mansour Delane and P.J. Woodland. And then your safeties were A.J. Halsey and Tamarcus Cooley. Your second defense was on the interior, Ahmad Bro and Bernard Gooden. Your ends were Jamari Butler and Patrick Payton. Your linebackers were Zach Weeks and Tylen Singleton. CJ Jim Coyley was at star. He wears number 31. He is a unit. Wait until you, I get he's a freshman. He's not going to play much. But wait until you see 31 in the uniform. You're going to be impressed. Your corners were DJ Pickett and Ashton Stamps. And then your safeties were Deshaun Spears and Javen Toviano with the twos. So, and that could have been completely different the next time they went team period, because we've seen so much rotation when they've gone, first 11 on defense. They've rotated so fluidly and so freely, but that's how it lined up today. Okay, there's a quick Monday practice report from out on the Ponderosa. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, and I'm thrilled to announce the new Bud Light aluminum bottles. The LSU bottles are here. If you're watching, got them here on set with me. It is to honor LSU wearing white jerseys at home. So it is a white bottle with, of course, the Tiger head logo and the Tiger scratch claw and stripes on the bottle. They look awesome. They got the cans as well, but the 16-ounce aluminum bottle, the 12-ounce cans, you're going to be tailgating. Make sure you're drinking the official beer of the LSU Tigers in those LSU officially licensed Bud Light LSU cans and aluminum bottles. You can get them starting today at great local retailers all around town. So drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the Tigers. All right, it's after further review, y'all. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. When we come back, Saints-Jags, what do they say, a tie is like kissing your sister or something like that? That's kind of what I don't even understand that. How does that make sense? A tie is like kissing your sister.
It doesn't at all.
I mean, like that's incestuous. A tie isn't incestuous.
Like, exactly by the definition, it's incestuous.
It just kind of like sucks.
I guess that's why, because tying sucks. I don't know.
No, I'm saying tying sucks. I wouldn't say kiss. I'd say kissing your sister is gross and
wrong
and abhorrent and terrible in every way. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I'll give you some takeaways from the Saints-Jags sister kissing contest yesterday. It's AFR.
After further review.
Wednesday is the day. Oh, I got a sneak peek. But Wednesday is the day. Earlier today, phone rang. Saw Darren James on the caller ID. Naturally, I answered it. Wednesday is the day the new agent225.com launches. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about the next generation of how you're going to shop for your home on the website, how you're going to list your home, agent225.com. Oh, you better familiarize yourself with it. You better bookmark it. If you're buying or selling, it already was, the most user-friendly website in real estate, and Darren just continues raising the bar. The new agent225.com is coming later this week. So call Darren or log on in a few days to agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
The timeout. No, they'll throw it. It's popped and it's picked. That's why you run it. Still alive. And it ends in a tie.
That's why you run it. That's a preseason game, Joe.
He's not wrong, though, man.
No,
I mean,
he's
look,
not wrong.
These reps matter for everybody, Matt. Coaches, like play callers. I mean, clean it up.
By the way, how about Cam Little hitting a 70-yarder last?
That's insane.
Like, when you watched him kick at Arkansas, you knew, like, Arkansas stunk, but that guy just kicked the mess out of the football. And you just knew it was setting up for Cam Little to go drill like a 60-yarder. I think they said where they were. They were in line for I think he was right 57 or 60, right around there. He would have had a shot at the win, but Jonas Sanker comes up with the interception. By the way, Jonas Sanker, how about a little presence of mind? Watch the clock. Get down or get out of bounds so you give yourself a chance to kick it. I know everybody's complaining like that he should have had 1 second left. They reviewed it. I don't care. Get out of there, whatever. The result. Bottom line is the result of the game doesn't matter. I thought Jonas Sanker actually was very good. He's one of my notes. The result of the game in a preseason. It just, they don't matter. The results are irrelevant. Preseason is all about getting a look. It's about getting reps. It's about individual performances. You don't game plan for a preseason game. You're not showing anything. You are intentionally vanilla. This is a glorified scrimmage to find out who's going to make your football team. It's just another piece of evidence. I have some takeaways that I want to get into. It is important to note, Jacksonville played their starting offense, and so actually their starters on both sides of the ball at the onset of the game. So the fact that they outrushed New Orleans like 200-47 in the first half, outgained. I don't care. I mean, they wanted to get Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. and ETN reps. Okay. You had a couple of third downs in that first possession. They converted them, throwing to their tight end. They probably would have been flawless scoring there with Lawrence, but for the offensive lineman stepping on his foot and then Lawrence fumbling a snap that Vernon Broughton recovered, which was cool to see. But that part of it, I'm not as concerned with. I'm more impressed that in the second half, when it was your backups against their backups, your guys trying to make the team against their guys trying to make the team, your defense pitched a shutout. You realize that? Saints defense pitched a shutout in the second half of this football game. And they got 3 takeaways. The Lawrence fumble there at the beginning, and you got a couple of interceptions in this ball game as well. So I thought that was really encouraging. I know everybody is going to start with the quarterbacks. Fine, we can go there. It was almost a role reversal from a week ago where Tyler Shuck played the second half, had the better stats, the more explosive plays, also had the pick 6. Rattler in the first half was very underwhelming. It just inverted this week. Shuck was very underwhelming in the first half. Rattler had the big plays, threw for just a hair under 200 yards, had the touchdown, had the costly interception. I loved the 2-minute drive by Spencer Rattler at the end of the football game to tie it with the 2-point conversion. I absolutely hated the interception in the red zone at the 13-yard line when you had a chance to get points right there. Tyler Shuck led a drive that ended in a field goal where, maybe they get a touchdown, but he throws a pass to Chris Olave that Olave drops down around the 10, 12-yard line. You got to make that play. And I would imagine Chris Olave makes that play 99 times out of 100, but in that situation, it meant the Saints settle for a field goal instead of maybe a touchdown. After the game, Kellen Moore was asked about Spencer Rattler and his performance against Jacksonville. Here's what he said.
I think that was a big moment and opportunity for him to have that great drive going down the field. You throw an interception and have to respond, and he responded really, really well. Put the team in excellent position, did a great job with situational football in that 2-minute drive. His ability to play with his feet, came up in a number of situations, and I just thought our guys did a really good job in that 2 minutes just handling and understanding what the situation was.
He's right. In that 2-minute drive, you overcame 2 penalties. Seth Green, the tight end, had a really nice, strong hands reception. Rattler had a beautiful scramble on that play. It was the play where they reviewed, where he dove forward. They reviewed it and let the play stand where it was. Of course, Dante Pettis, the touchdown reception was gorgeous, catching the ball around the 5 and then powering his way up the field into the end zone. And then the 2-point conversion, the play wasn't there. Rattler showed his ability to make a play with his feet, getting around right end and getting in the end zone to tie the game. So there was a lot to like there in that. For me, I'll tell you my biggest takeaway, I think. I keep looking for, I've repeated this a bunch, and I'll keep saying it. I keep looking for foundational players. Can we find guys that are potential starters, guys that you could build a foundation on for the future? And I look at someone who continues to pop like Danny Stutzman. He just keeps flashing on the screen. 5 more tackles. He had a pass breakup as well. And the other one that I thought was awesome was Jalen Ford. Jalen Ford ended up with 4 tackles. He had the gorgeous interception. He had a TFL as well. And by the way, Jalen Ford, his PFF grade, and again, PFF, I get just a metric. It's not the metric. Sometimes I look at PFF, though, to say, does that confirm or disconfirm what I think my eyes saw? So, like, I'm looking at 53 on the field who looks like an action figure, like an old starting lineup action figure in the uniform. I'm looking at 53. He looks awesome. I go look at PFF. His grade was a 90.5. The only player on the entire team that had a higher PFF grade was Rajon Wright, who had a 92.1. By the way, the Jonas Sanker interception at the end of the game, that was caused by Rajon Wright breaking the ball up and floated in the air that Sanker was able to pick it off. So, love to see that. The flip side of it is, I thought DeMarco Jackson really struggled. He looked like he was always a step slow, out of the play, missing tackles. Lo and behold, DeMarco Jackson was he tied with Colin Saunders as the lowest graded players on the entire team at PFF with a 29.9. Like, I think you are starting to identify future starters on that defense. I think Jonas Sanker is a guy who just looks like he has a different level of speed closing to the football. And you can tell a lot of times, it's almost like, if you want the comp, like if you go watch a high school game on a Friday night, sometimes you're watching a bunch of like high school guys run, and then there's one guy on the field that just is playing at a different speed. Okay, that guy's the Division I guy. And then you go watch a college football game, and it's like there's one guy who makes everyone else look like they're moving in slow motion. You're like, yep, well, that's Leonard Fournette, right? That's the guy that's going to be the top 10 draft pick. That's Will Campbell. And the same thing is true whenever you watch preseason. Like, you're watching a bunch of guys, and a lot of them are going to be, cut, practice squad, selling insurance next week. And then there's guys who are Sunday players. And Jonas Sanker looks to me like a Sunday player, like a guy that's going to make the team and be an impact guy and a potential starter down the line. Same with Danny Stutzman, same with Jalen Ford. So I like the fact that it looks like you've hit on some of those guys that could be key guys for you in the future. Some of the big plays, Mason Tipton, 45-yarder. He was your highest graded offensive player, the 45-yard reception from Rattler. How about Trayton Welch, the 28-yarder from Tyler Shuck? That was the one on the right sideline where Shuck put it up. Welch went up, tight window, made the play, came down hard, kind of got hurt coming off the field. But two really nice plays there by a couple of guys. I know there's going to be so much concentration on the struggles of the offense in the first half, and people are going to zero in on Tyler Shuck. And I'm not saying that he's immune, but for whatever it's worth, Shuck was the second highest offensive grade on PFF behind Tipton. Shuck's grade was a 74.3. But he had no pass protection. I mean, the first series of the game, they run the ball. On second down, he gets sacked. On third down, he's about to be sacked again. He gets rid of the football, throws it right at Cesar Ruiz. By the way, Ruiz is the one who olayed that block. That, for me, is the bigger problem right now, is you have so much invested in this offensive line by way of draft picks and draft capital, and they're just not any good. Now, there was no Eric McCoy. I mean, there's a gigantic chasm of a difference between Torricelli Simpkins III, who's starting at center right now, who's never even played center. He was a guard at South Carolina. And Erica McCoy, right? I mean, it's just a dramatic upgrade. And then obviously with no Trevor Penning, it was Dylan Radden's former second-round pick who you signed in free agency, started last game at right tackle, now is at left guard, replacing Trevor Penning with the injury. So let me see what week one looks like when you have all of your starters in there and how much better this line may look. But it's the same thing as we talked about last year. It's really hard to judge when you have such a leaky offensive line, and they just have to be better. They have to be. You've invested so much draft capital into that unit. It just has to perform. The other note that I wrote down was about running back. I think Kendre Miller continues to look really, really good running the football. You could see the ability and why they liked him so much. 6 carries for 21 yards, his long of 13. He had another 12-yard run negated because of a holding on Torricelli Simpkins, but that was maybe his most impressive run of the day that got negated. And then Clyde, the catch Clyde made on the sideline in the third quarter when he got upfield and plowed over some cat, that's the type of thing, that play and the 11-yard reception he made, that play and his blocking ability are why I think Clyde's going to make this team over Cam Akers. If you're going to keep 3, it's going to be Kamara, it's going to be Kendre, and I think it's going to be Clyde at this point. Not only because of his ability to run hard. I mean, listen, if you're an NFL running back, you can run hard, you're fast, you're athletic. We know Clyde can catch the ball out of the backfield, and they love to throw the ball to the backs. But his ability to run block and to pass protect, I think, are a differentiator for Clyde right now because you are really struggling up front to protect your young quarterbacks. And if you have to have another layer of protection, that guy is the best pass blocking running back that you have. Now, how would he factor in on game days? I don't know, but it is something worth considering and probably why Clyde has a little bit of a leg up right now to make this team. So They tie 17 all. An efficient day, an error-free day largely for Tyler Shuck, a more explosive day for Spencer Rattler, although it did come with the big turnover. After the game, Kellen Moore was asked, "Can you play number 4, please?" about if they've narrowed down the quarterback competition. Naturally, he's not going to say much.
Have you narrowed this quarterback battle down to Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck?
We're just going to keep building through this process. And, we think we got 3 really good ones here, and we'll continue to build.
Obviously, Hayner's not a part of this at all. He didn't play. I think the fascinating thing is normally when you get to that 3rd preseason game, they treat it like the 4th preseason game. It used to be where you don't play anybody. Well, this is one of those instances where I think you look and you say, your young guys have to get reps. Every rep is so valuable for these guys. So how do they handle it? Do they flip it again, let Rattler start and get him the first half, Shuck the second half? Like, how do they do it for the 3rd preseason game? Because you're ticking down to the opener now. You play the 3rd preseason game this weekend, then you're off the following weekend, and then you play week 1, September the 7th at home against Arizona. So I understand working through the process, but this process likely will extend into the regular season by the way things are going right now. But a lot of growth and just more evidence of what's happening. I'm going to continue to say this over and over again. I know people don't like to hear it. I am not expecting anything from this team by way of a win-loss record. I think they're probably a 5-12 football team. I think they can win week 1, by the way, against Arizona. But I am more interested this season in identifying foundational pieces for the future that you can build around. I think you're starting to identify some of those in particular on the defensive side of the ball. All right, our show every day on Mondays are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We will wrap up our SEC fall previews. We'll take a look at Boomer Sooner. Parker Thune will be with us next on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. By the way, the Get Gordon Billboard Design Competition is back. You can win up to $2,000 in prizes and a donation to charity of your choice, and also see your billboard all over the state. How about that? It's Gordon McKernan's Billboard Design Contest. It's the 3rd year they've been doing it. You can go to getgordon.com to learn more. Getgordon.com. You see the big Billboard Design Competition logo right there. It's also on all their social medias, all the rules and regs and everything you might need there. Go to getgordon.com. Getgordon.com. Get creative, design your billboard, have some fun with it. Remember, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
One more stop on our fall camp preview tour, taking a look at all of LSU's SEC opponents. We head into Norman, Oklahoma, as the Sooners try to bounce back after a disappointing year last year under Brent Venables. Parker Thune, good enough to join us. He's from OU Insider, part of the On3 Rivals Network, and give us the deets on OU. Parker, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Not bad at all, Matt. How are you doing?
Fantastic, man. We got football this weekend, and I'm fired up for it, as I'm sure everyone listening is. OU is a really fascinating team for me, man. They were 500 a year ago, but, man, there's a ton of brimming optimism around the Sooners this year that they're going to have a bounce-back year. Do you think that optimism of having this team ranked top 15, pretty much consensus, is justified?
Man, it's hard to say. It really is, because there's very little with which you can judge this team when you're talking about empirical data from a year ago, just because so much has changed. There's a lot of continuity on the defensive side of the ball. They bring back 8 of 11 starters on that side. So you expect, especially with Brent Venables taking the reins and calling the shots, that it's going to be one of the best units in the country. But offensively, you just have no idea what you're getting. Yeah, John Mateer was fantastic at Washington State a year ago, but that's Washington State. The level of competition that he was facing, playing what was in essence a Mountain West schedule last year versus now stepping into the fire, playing an SEC schedule. You're talking about two entirely different levels of competition there. What I think benefits him is he obviously has a ton of familiarity with the system that he's going to be playing within, because his former offensive coordinator at Washington State, Ben Arbuckle, also made the move over to Oklahoma. And so those two are going to be largely responsible for what OU fans hope will be a bit of an offensive revolution around here. But it's still really hard to say, because I think coming off 6-7 for the second time in 3 years, which is not the norm around here, I think plenty of folks are just wanting to see it before they believe it, even though there has been so much hype nationally for this team.
Yeah. It's such a weird about face from a team that was so good offensively under Lincoln Riley, and the question was always, could they find defense? Now that's sort of inverted, not actually that dissimilar from LSU for a lot of years. But, we know John Mateer is there. In the storyline a year ago were all the injuries among the receivers. Well, Nick Anderson and Bauer Sharp are now at LSU. Have there been fall camp standouts on the offensive side that people think, like names we need to know that are surrounding John Mateer on that offense?
Yeah, absolutely. Arkansas transfer Isaiah Satania is a guy that folks that pay attention to SEC football may be familiar with. Had a pretty solid 3-year stint with the Razorbacks. Since making the move over to Oklahoma this offseason, he's been phenomenal. He's really emerged to the best of my knowledge and talking with folks within the program that have been privy to the day-to-day happenings on the practice field. He's been John Mateer's most reliable target. Now, you have Deion Burks, a Purdue transfer that played at Oklahoma last year but dealt with injuries throughout. He's fully healthy. The expectation is he's going to take a step up in terms of target share and production. And then in the backfield, man, I think everybody is well aware of the other big-time transfer addition that Oklahoma made this offseason, bringing in Jaden Ott from Cal, who is 1 year removed from a 1,300-yard campaign for the Golden Bears and a first-team Pac-12 selection back in 2023. So outside of those guys, I would say one guy I'm really eager to see, just based on the excitement level that there seems to be within the program about this guy and what he's done on the practice field so far in fall camp, is sophomore wide receiver Ivan Carrion out of Odessa, Texas, he saw a little bit of action for Oklahoma a season ago, caught 7 passes in the bowl game, but has really, really impressed over the last couple of weeks in particular. And what's unique about him is he's 6'6", one of the tallest wide receivers in all of college football. So if you have a guy with that type of catch radius that can separate and make plays downfield, which is what everyone is saying Ivan Carrion has really unlocked in his game this offseason, that could be a major X factor for Oklahoma in the passing game.
He's Parker Thune on Twitter at Parker Thune, Thune, from OU Insider, part of the On3 Network. Last year, OU finished 29th nationally in total defense. Is the expectation it'll be similar or better?
I think the hope is that it'll be better. The expectation, the modest expectation, is that it's going to be similar. Yeah, you lose Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, and Ethan Downs, all three of whom are on NFL rosters now. But you bring in guys like Marvin Jones, the former 5-star recruit, Florida State transfer, who had 4.5 sacks last year for the Seminoles. Peyton Bowen, a former 5-star recruit, gets to step into a full-time starting role at strong safety. And then in Stutzman's stead, you have a guy that has been well-groomed to take over the reins of that middle linebacker position in Kobe McKenzie, a redshirt junior. And so with some of the additions that Oklahoma made, some of the true freshmen on that side of the ball that look like they're ready to make an early impact, including freshman quarterback Cortland Guillory, who has been maybe the superstar, the talk of the town throughout fall camp to date. I think it's safe to say that if Oklahoma doesn't do at least as well defensively as they did a season ago, folks around here are going to be disappointed.
You know, if they don't, Parker, the only thing that I look at with OU is the schedule. You know this is coming because it's the thing that you can't talk about OU without looking at. Man, and I just don't know how they navigate it. Let's start with week 2 against Michigan. The game's in Norman. It's going to be a night game. Everyone, like the whole country, will be watching. It'll be maybe the biggest game of that entire weekend. When the conversations are happening in OU circles and they talk about that game, what's the narrative around that game right now?
I think it's kind of viewed as the fulcrum of the season in a certain sense. The early litmus test, obviously, you're going to be facing a top 20 opponent in week 2. It feels like a must-win game for Brent Venables and this program, and the game that's also going to tell you a lot about what actually reasonable expectations are for this team throughout the rest of the 2025 campaign. Because if they come out and they pummel Michigan, if they win that game by 20 points or something, then I think it validates a lot of the offseason talk about what this team could be and the type of rebound they could have even within the confines of a very competitive SEC. However, if they lose that game on their home field, then I think, yeah, you're only 2 games into the season at that point, but I think you have a lot of folks locally and nationally feeling as if, oh, well, same old OU that we saw in 2024. You can forget about them.
You know, it really feels like, Parker, OU's got to start 5-0. Because I'm sure you've talked about it a ton. The 7-game stretch to finish the season is I don't know that anybody has a stretch like this. Texas, at South Carolina, Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Bama, Missouri, LSU. When you look at that slate, what do you see as far as what they have to do to navigate that slate realistically?
Yeah, well, that Texas game, Matt, every single year, that Texas game is the game that the entire season seemingly hinges upon. If they roll into that game 5-0 and they have a ton of momentum, and you're looking at a Texas team that maybe they don't win in week 1 against Ohio State, maybe they already have a loss. Maybe they go on the road to Florida early in the season in Gainesville and drop that one. And so then Texas has I would say Texas has a stiffer 5-game stretch leading into that game. Oklahoma has an easier one. but their schedules kind of flip-flop on the second half because Oklahoma's closing stretch is killer and Texas's seems a lot easier on paper. And so Oklahoma, I think you're right. They have to start 5-0. I think it would suit them well. It's not a must-win game, but if they go and beat Texas, that has you feeling a lot better about this team's ability to navigate that closing stretch throughout the second half of the season. Missouri and Tennessee, those feel like the games you got to win because the consensus expectation, at least from where I stand, the people I've talked to, is that those two programs aren't going to be quite as good as they were last year. And then Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU, games like that, man, I think obviously with the schedule being as tough as it is, if you're looking at a playoff path for Oklahoma, 9-3 might do it. And so you don't have to win all of those games by any stretch of the imagination in order to give yourself a case for the CFP committee on Selection Sunday. But I feel like you do have to have a statement somewhere along the line. Whether that is LSU the final week of the season, whether that is Texas, or maybe that is beating Alabama for a second straight season, this time in Tuscaloosa. There's a number of different ways it could break down, but it feels like Oklahoma's going to need that statement win at some point.
But it would be great theater November 29th if LSU makes its first trip to Norman and both teams maybe have a playoff berth hanging in the balance. It'd be a lot of fun if it ends up that way. We'll see as we get closer. Parker Thune, hey, man, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much, man.
Absolutely. I'll take it easy.
It's our pleasure. OU Insider, they're part of the On3 Network. Get them on Twitter at Parker Thune, Thune. We appreciate that. OU is, to me, the definition of a team that's probably going to be better than they were last year. I don't know if the record shows it just because of the schedule. If Brent Venables successfully navigates that slate, I mean, there will be no more questions about Brent Venables and his ability at OU, because that is a brutal stretch for anybody with just no breather. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and Trent and our whole crew over at Parish Construction and Roofing, commercial or residential. Saw yesterday in our group chat there was a major hail event right at the center of New Orleans yesterday on Sunday. If that was you, if you have had hail, think you might have had damage, let us come give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. We'll come check it out. Again, we'll never charge you for an inspection. You get a full, detailed inspection report. So maybe next time when you do have damage, you can always compare it to your prior inspection report. We can help you through the entire thing. Roof repairs, replacements, commercial, residential. We do gutters. We do soft washes. We do it all. It's Parish Construction and Roofing. Parishbuilt.com. Parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Man, the future of LSU's quarterback situation after 2025 still hanging in the balance, and you can't help but shake your head after the news that came out of Syracuse, New York on Monday. I'll tell you what that is when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Action Industries is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Action, INDINC.com. Action, INDINC.com for Action Industries Incorporated. You know, it's been my pleasure to tell you now for a couple of years about Action Industries because of all the amazing work that they do. Pipe, structural steel, pressure vessels, which of course not everyone does. When it comes to their pipe manufacturing, they fabricate in separate shops, alloy and carbon steel. The two sections, they're segregated. They're ASME certified vessel manufacturer. They issue all three stamps, RSU. They have them all. And they offer food-grade fabrication as well. One of the largest coffee brands in the world uses Action Industries. And if you have that mega project going on, they can supplement if you're short on skilled labor. They can supplement your mega projects. It's Action Industries. Check them out online. Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Glad you're hanging on with us here. Could Coach O about to be returning to football? We'll get to that after Sports Center, about 10 minutes from right now. If you missed our LSU football practice report, that was in the show open. You can always catch AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. On-demand audio, video, YouTube podcast. Just search AFR LSU. You can get today's practice report. Ever since Bryce Underwood flipped to Michigan, and I don't always mean to default to that, but that created a domino effect that I think LSU is going to continue to feel for some time. And the news that came out of Syracuse earlier today kind of underscores another part of that disappointment. So Ricky Collins was beaten out by Steve Angeli for the starting job there at Syracuse. So if you remember the story, Collins was a 4-star from Woodlawn and Baton Rouge, signed with LSU in 23, played in 5 games over his 2 years here. After the 24 season, he transfers to Syracuse. He goes through spring football. On April the 7th, head coach Fran Brown names Ricky Collins the starter coming out of spring, April the 7th. Well, 3 weeks later, Steve Angeli leaves Notre Dame, goes into the spring portal window, and commits and signs with Syracuse. So they go into fall camp, and now the two transfers, Collins and Angeli, are battling for the job. Well, Angeli's played in 21 games. He's a redshirt junior, so he's entering his 4th year. Played in 21 games at Notre Dame. You might remember in that game against Penn State, he went in an emergency backup spot, was 6 of 7, and had that scoring drive at the end of the first half. So this is a guy that's been in some leverage spots. He played the bowl game for Notre Dame as well. So a little bit more experience and just narrowly beat out Ricky Collins. So it'll be Steve Angeli starting for Syracuse in their opener against Tennessee in Atlanta. It'll be 2 transfers with Joey Aguilar winning the Tennessee job. It's disappointing for Ricky Collins, no doubt. And it still leaves LSU in a tough spot. I think the question is, and it's revisionist history now, you're crying over spilled milk, but would you rather be at a point where you had Michael Van Buren or Ricky Collins, because both are in the same class? Maybe Collins has the higher upside Van Buren's a guy that has the experience, having started 8 games a year ago in the SEC for Mississippi State. But no matter how it plays out, LSU's going to have to add 2 scholarship quarterbacks after the season because you're losing Nussmeier. And even if you get both Michael Van Buren and Colin Hurley back, and what's to say one of them would leave? I don't know anything in particular, but there's just always that possibility. Just like Collins left the year before, like Walker Howard left. I mean, A.J. Swan left. It's a thing that happens. I mean, you're going to have to go add 2. You're going to hopefully flip a freshman in the class of 26, and you're probably going to add a transfer. It's just a matter of, is the transfer you add going to be, is it going to be A.J. Swan, a backup that has some experience, or are you going to find Jaden Daniels? I don't mean a Heisman Trophy winner, but remember when you signed Jaden, he's a guy that had been a starter at the Power 4 level, and he came here and developed immensely over his 2 seasons in Baton Rouge. But are you going to get someone who's got 20, 30 starts under his belt that's maybe moving into the SEC that could be a bridge to whatever might be next for you? And I don't know, look, if Ricky Collins had stayed at LSU, maybe you never get Michael Van Buren. So there's all this, chicken or the egg conversation. But it does go to show this is as precarious a spot as LSU's been in at quarterback, really since 2018, when Narcisse and McMillan both transferred, and you were left with nothing but Burrow and Miles Brennan, who they were trying to redshirt. So you had 1 scholarship quarterback in 2018. Kind of feels similar for 2026. We'll see how they manage the portal after the season.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. You're never far from a Shawbills dealer, and of course, they will always get you name brand tires at wholesale prices. Go to their website, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Right now, y'all, it's back to school made easy. Maybe you're bringing the kids into that carpool line and you realize the check engine light's on, the oil light's on, there's low tire pressure. You need something done to your vehicle, Shawbills can help. Go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana, and they will always work hard to get you the best price possible on the best tires on the road. Like right now, get up to $180 off when you use your Shawbills credit card on Firestone and Bridgestone tires. You can get all the deets at ShawBillsTire.com. When you hit the promotions tab, it's all there for you. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking baseball news. Phillies ace Zach Wheeler had surgery today to remove a blood clot in his upper right arm. A timeline for his return remains unclear. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford made his much-anticipated return from a back injury to practice. Today was the first time in camp he practiced. When asked for his confidence level in Stafford being ready for the season opener, Coach Sean McVay replied he thinks that would be putting the cart way before the horse. As Coach Kevin Stefanski had been indicating, the Browns named Joe Flacco their starting quarterback for Week 1. ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
I understand it. I would have gone with one of the rookies if I was Cleveland. I kind of know who Joe is and what I'm going to get with Joe. They'll be a competitive and good football team. It doesn't answer anything of the future at that position for the Cleveland Browns, but at least that gives them confidence that they have a capable player at that position.
The rookies, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, as well as Kenny Pickett, all vying for the backup job in Cleveland. Ohio State named Julian Sayin its starting quarterback for the August 30th season opener against Texas.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Tuesday. I'll tell you the 5 teams most likely to improve this upcoming season. It's unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6 right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
After further review, presented by Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You suck. And Mr. Toby Tom, play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Former Saint John Stinchcomb, he was on the broadcast for the preseason game on Sunday. He'll be here in 13 minutes from right now. Oh, and the Big Ten wants a bajillion team playoff. And I love it. You know I love that. All of the lemmings who just fall in line with whatever they're told to believe, who just want to, let's go back to the BCS. Let's have 2, the sacred regular season. Dorks, shut up. I'll talk about that in about 30 minutes. Okay. Didn't think I'd be talking about this 12 days from LSU's opener, but Ed Orgeron was a guest on Pardon My Take on Barstool, and he's made a few headlines. He said this.
Yeah, I think it's time. I'm feeling a little bit. I haven't made the decision totally, but, I got my boys settled, coaching football now, and it's been 4 years since I've been out, and I'm getting the itch again.
So, Coach O said he's getting the itch to coach again. I know where a lot of you think I'm going to go with this, but I'm not, actually. I think that if Coach Orgeron wants to coach again, he absolutely should and absolutely will. The The question, though, is where and in what capacity. Because there's a sliding scale of weighing risk-reward with every hire. And that's not just in coaching. That's in everything. I mean, as the program director here and publisher at LouisianaSports.net, I get to hire people all the time. And sometimes if I'm hiring a weekend board op, you just need someone who's reliable and will show up. You hire them. And if they don't show up, you fire them. And then you'll give someone else a chance. If you're hiring like C-level management or a head football coach at a Power 4 institution, you're going to be a little more diligent with your decision-making. So I don't believe Ed Orgeron will ever be a major Power 4 head coach again. He's 64 years old, and it went very badly at the end with LSU. And not just on the field, but the off-the-field stuff. You got to remember there were the Title IX implications, the federal lawsuit with the federal Title IX implications. There was obviously the on-field stuff. And then there's just a lot of what's transpired on social media that's generally not a good look for a major college football head coach. A lot of that factored into the decision to fire him at LSU. And a lot of that is why he's not going to ever get a major Power 4 head coaching opportunity again. But I do think that if Ed Orgeron wanted to be a defensive line coach at the major college level or in the NFL, remember, he was the Saints defensive line coach in 2008. I think that is an absolute no-brainer. Just for the opportunity in college to have one of the most dynamic recruiters ever, like one of the most dynamic recruiters, full stop, on your staff, and one of the most accomplished technical defensive line coaches ever, full stop, on your staff, major coup, huge win. Like, of course, any program in America would hire Ed Orgeron as their defensive line coach, recruiting coordinator. Of course, yes, in a millisecond. Same with the NFL. I mean, there are no staff limits in the NFL. So any team could bring him on as a D-line coach, assistant D-line coach, whatever. And I do believe that there are G5 and maybe lower Power 4 schools that might take a look at him as a head coach. I mean, you'd be talking about, like, the bottom of the barrel, though. Like, I mean, I think about Kansas hiring Les Miles. It was like a similar hire like that, where there was a lot of notoriety, a coach that had great name recognition, brand recognition, and won a head coach. It was not going to be a long-term thing. It was just come in, infuse some life, build a foundation, make us better for the next guy, which actually did happen. Now, Les exited unceremoniously at KU, but, I mean, the transgressions at LSU or the allegations at LSU got him fired at Kansas. But it was a much better situation that Lance Leipold stepped into. And I look at other coaches that were major power head coaches that were out of the game that got an opportunity to get back in at a lower level. Dan Mullen's doing it right now. Dan Mullen coached at State, then at Florida. He was out for 3 years. Now he's back in as the head coach at UNLV. And that's not a terrible job. Like, UNLV in the NIL era is committing resources into their football program to try to be a really good G5 program. Larry Coker was a national championship winning head coach. He drove the Miami bus right off a cliff and was out of coaching and then got back in at UTSA. Terry Bowden was in TV for 10 years after he got fired at Auburn, then got hired at Akron, and then was a coach at ULM. So, like, I think for a G5 program looking to bring some notoriety, some name recognition, it's not that dissimilar from Jackson State hiring Deion or Norfolk State hiring Michael Vick. I mean, those guys, UAB hiring Trent Dilfer, like, those guys aren't being hired because they're great coaches. They're being hired because they bring great notoriety and attention to the program. Now, the thing I've always said about Deion is Deion got the job at Jackson State because he's Deion Sanders. Deion got the job at Colorado because he can actually really coach. And I think he's shown that out and will continue to do so. I just don't know if Ed Orgeron wants to go be a G5 coach somewhere just to be a head coach again, or if he would rather get back in as a defensive line coach, recruiting coordinator. And that just makes a lot of sense. Position coaches make a lot of money. All you have to do is coach ball and recruit, and you're out of the spotlight. You don't have all the pressure that goes along with being the head coach, not only with the wins and losses, but also some of the off-the-field stuff. I mean, I don't want to mischaracterize it, but a lot of the stuff that reflected negatively on Coach O at the end at LSU were, like the photo in bed with the woman that went viral, and the conversation at the fishing camp with the women he invited up, and then threatening the male students that kind of jawed with him a little bit. Like, those are the types of things on social media that get spread out there, and you can't do that as a major head coach. It's always in the spotlight. So go be a position coach. Make $750,000. Coach ball and don't have that spotlight. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer of a situation for a guy like Ed Orgeron. But it'll be fascinating. Told the other guys, pardon my take, that he's getting the itch. He's got 2 of his sons are coaching at Miami. One son is on staff at Tulane. And we'll see. Look, his buyout at LSU was $17 million. I have no idea what he did with that money. I would assume he's set. I would assume he's set financially for his life and hopefully for his kids' lives and all that sort of stuff. But I have no idea. So in any event, Coach O says he wants to coach again, and someone would be right to give him a shot as a G5 head coach or as a major college or NFL defensive line coach. We'll follow it, see what opportunities may arise, but it ain't going to happen right now because you're on the brink of a season, and it's unlikely someone would bring him in right now. So at the earliest, it would feel like after this season, as you get into the next coaching carousel cycle, maybe that would be the time. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels, where, of course, Baton Rouge and all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged for decades, for 4 decades, as a matter of fact. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. One of the things I love about Lee Michaels is they're approachable. They pride themselves on what they call the Lee Michaels experience. And you get that experience at affordable prices for everyone. So no matter what your budget is, they pride themselves on service. If you want to walk in and try on 1,000 different rings, do it. A family member looks at, hand inspects every diamond before it goes into the case. It's why they've been there for 40 years. It is a personal experience at Lee Michaels. So don't be nervous. Just walk in the door or go to the website and schedule a consultation with one of their associates. You'll walk in the door, they'll offer you chocolates on a tray and something cold to drink, and you'll be blown away by the experience at Lee Michaels. lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out on this Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Got to grab a quick break. When we come back, John Stinchcomb will be here, former Saint Pro Bowl offensive lineman. Been on the call for the past 2 preseason games for New Orleans. What did he see Sunday in the Dome with the Saints and Jags, and what should we be looking forward to with the 3rd preseason game coming up this week with the Denver Broncos coming to the Dome? We'll get into that with Stinch when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Oh, be on the lookout. There will be some potentially viral social content coming soon. Sunday, I spent part of my day over at Duplessis Builders with 3 of the premier members of LSU's 2026 recruiting class. Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, were in that mix. And I'll tell you, we were over at Duplessis Builders, and there may have been a cold plunge challenge involved with 3 very large humans, with Lamar Brown, with Richard Anderson, and with Bryson Martinez, the big offensive lineman from EA, and a short, bald, 43-year-old radio host. Like I said, there might be some viral content on the way. But bottom line is, Derek and the staff over at Duplessis, great supporters of the Tigers. Check them out, duplessisbuilders.net.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Good game, good battle. Obviously a unique circumstance of tying a football game, but our locker room was happy and excited, and our guys played really, really well down the stretch, made some big-time plays, big-time opportunities, really good lessons for our guys throughout this game, starting fast, getting better from that standpoint, and we'll just keep growing.
Saints and Jags tie at 17. Exciting finish. John Stinchcomb was on the call. Good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Stinch, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Always our pleasure. What are you specifically looking for when you go into a second preseason game?
Well, for this year, it's where we at with the quarterbacks, right? I mean, obviously we don't get an opportunity to evaluate any of the starters on defense. They weren't available on Sunday. And so really it's more role players across the defense. But you look at it, and the way the roster is right now, there's so many opportunities: running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, maybe not your 1 and 2 wide receiver, but you get behind there, and there's some opportunities for guys to make plays and still be impactful and not only carve out a roster spot, but a role when the season comes around.
All right, so you mentioned a few positions there that I want to talk about. The quarterbacks, I guess we can start there. How can you grade or rate what Tyler Shuck did when it's a little bit of a makeshift and leaky offensive line? I mean, what can you take away from Shuck's performance in the first half?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment in that you didn't get any of the run game going, and I think we're just kind of struggling offensive line-wise when there's line movement or various pressures. We saw a couple of TEs where defensive tackles, defensive ends are twisting and they're getting home. So it it's equally as important to evaluate a quarterback. What do they do in those stressful situations? And you see the flip of week 1 to week 2 of who gets to start and who's with the quote unquote ones that are out there. And you look statistically, and I think that's reflective of how that first team offense has performed. And I'm sure there's plenty of game planning that will occur once you get to regular season, and it'll look a lot sharper, but it certainly hasn't looked clean. So when you're evaluating a guy like Tyler Shuck who comes in there, well, how does he manage? How does he get you in the right situation? How does he recognize what the defense is and adjust the protection or get you to the right play? And I think at times he did that really well. You look at one of the last drives of that first half, and he hits an open Chris Olave, who's almost always sure-handed and uncharacteristically drops the ball, and it's the end of a series that you end up with points on the board, but it's 3 instead of a potential 7. So I think you're looking at the whole picture as you're evaluating these quarterbacks, and that's the case for both Rattler and Shuck.
How do you grade the offensive line, Stinch, when that's a unit that you want to look at them individually, but that unit has to work together as one? So I don't know, it feels like it'd be hard to rate them individually when the success depends on everyone else. What do you see?
Yeah, well, as a group, they're not high functioning right now. But you go back and watch the film, and I've become a little bit of a nerd and gone back from behind both games and watched those guys.
Love it.
And I'm encouraged by Kelvin Banks. You look at his skill set, and it's pretty obvious why he's a top 10 pick. Obviously, there's things that he's going to improve on technique-wise and footwork-wise, but athleticism, power, finish, drive, control, body control when he's out there, a lot to be encouraged about. And I think you look at the overall production of the group, it's not there yet. And candidly, I was expecting the right side of the line to be a little bit further along than they were. I'm not saying Fuaga has played poorly. I think it's more of when they're in conjunction, when it's Cesar Ruiz and Fuaga, whether it's line games like we mentioned earlier or just some of the combo blocks, they're not there yet. And so, part of that is you don't have Eric McCoy in the middle. You do in practice, but not in the games. And he is the tie that binds that offensive front. So I think it's a different group once he's back out there and can kind of get everybody on the same page. But it certainly has left a lot to be desired up to this point.
We could do 2 segments just talking about the offensive line, but I want to make sure we cover a lot of ground. John Stinchcomb is with us. You mentioned the receivers, and the first 2 roles are obviously taken, but and obviously with Olave and Shaheed. By the way, did you get a chance to look at Brandon Cooks at all?
No.
Okay.
I hadn't seen him once.
That's fine. Is Mason Tipton a guy that can be a contributing Sunday player, or is he just a preseason training camp warrior?
Hey, great question. I think he's very much a contributor. I think you look at some of the balls that he has to battle for. I think his performance is not just against sub-Sunday regular season talent. I think he's going to be a contributor. And with that said, there's still room for improvement there, right? So the Rattler interception into the game, Spencer comes on and says, it's a little bit of a miscommunication, which is code for I don't want to throw my wide receiver under the bus, but he's either got to flatten out or get on his horse instead of just kind of jogging through that route. And, that was Mason on that play. So you listen to the other players, and I think that's a pretty good indicator of the respect that he has earned among his peers. And I think he's very much going to be a part of the equation once we get to the regular season.
When I say tight end so far in the preseason, first thing, player, person, play, what comes to mind?
Oh, that catch by Welch was pretty impressive.
How about it?
When he catches it on the neck of a linebacker who has him totally covered up. So I think he's made a couple plays. Week 1, you go back and you saw Stahl make a couple plays, and they're really more inline tight ends than receivers. So, you got Juwan, who we haven't seen a lot of this preseason, but his pass catching ability and his athleticism, and you're looking for who's that complement. And I think there's opportunities and battles that are occurring at that position specifically.
John Stinchcomb is with us. I know you and Joel talked about the running backs on the broadcast a good bit yesterday as well. And I think we all know Kamara and Kendre Miller seem pretty entrenched. The question is, who's third or fourth? How do you, after 2 preseason games, how do you start to shuffle that out?
Yeah, so special teams is going to be huge. And obviously, a healthy Kendre Miller is going to help this offense. You see the explosiveness. I mean, how many times were defenders unblocked in the hole? He made a miss, drives through a couple tackles. I'm excited about what he can bring to kind of help shoulder the load that Kamara has taken for the past decade and be able to get more. I think you'll get more out of Kamara in the long run just because of the ability that Kendre can bring to spread the load, if you will. And after that, obviously, Velus Jones Jr., I've seen him spark a couple times. It's tough to match speed and, wide receiver, more body type that's in that running back position. But we saw on Sunday his ability to run between the tackles. And so, I think he's certainly a part of the equation. Every time you talk to Coach Moore, he says there is a path to the 53 for each one of these guys. And I take him at his word on that for each one of these players, they have a vision as to how they can contribute, and it's going to be a little bit of a difficult decision. But, I think Velus is probably that number 3 for me right now as to where it stands. And, you're looking at Cam and Clyde trying to battle out and see what they can do, not only from that running back position, but potentially be a value add in special teams as well.
Wow, Velus is the number 3. Okay. All right, I got 2 more for you. One, when we started, you mentioned observing the defensive role players. For me, that was kind of my biggest takeaway as you look for who could potentially be foundational pieces moving forward, some of those young defensive guys. Who, I know my answer, who is it for you, the young defenders that have popped for you?
On Sunday, Sanker certainly made his presence known. His ability to close and do so with some hostility and violence has been eye-catching. You hear some of the vets talk about him early. Stallbird continues to be I think a value add in special teams and just his overall hustle. So just kind of working my way back into front end. And then Rumpf, seasoned vet, but high motor guy, applied pressure. I don't know if he showed up a ton in that stat book, but he's affecting the game, as is Diggs. So just a couple guys that I think have helped themselves in this camp.
What about Danny Stutzman?
You know what's funny? I figured that you were going to go that route. And when we were talking with Coach Staley early, we're kind of working our way through the different position group. And with Stutzman, he looks the part. He moves really well. And I think there's some hype that surrounds him. And Coach Staley was almost trying to get us to pump the brakes with our excitement of how he performs. Because a couple times he's like, he would just say, he's not there yet. We see what you see. He flashes. He's a guy that, you have to take notice of him. And we certainly have of how he's performed in these first 2 preseason games. But I think what he's trying to tell us is, with the development of these players, there's more to it than just the physical style of play and his quick decision-making. I think as he learns the game and that defense better, he'll be more of a contributor, but he has certainly caught our eye, and almost to the point where Coach Staley was trying to get us to temper our expectations a little bit.
Look, your starters are entrenched there. Nobody's questioning that at all, but that dude is always around the ball, and it's hard not to be excited about what the future could be with him.
Yeah. Good. Well, I think you look at all their draft picks, and you see there's a lot of the answer as to why or how. How does this guy help us? How does this guy fit? why did you pick him? And I think there's a defensible reason for each one of these guys as to why they drafted.
Last thing for you, there's always this question about what you make of the third preseason game now. Like, do you treat it like they used to treat the third game when there were 4, or is this you treat it like you used to treat the fourth where nobody plays? What would you like to see the Saints do against Denver this weekend?
Well, what I would like for them to do and what they're going to do are probably two very different things.
Okay.
I would like for them to actually get some more reps, for meaningful reps. I think I'm going to call this team a young team because of young in the system, if nothing else. Young in their understanding of what's going to be asked on both sides of the ball. Not young as in we don't have enough vets. I think we do. I think we've got a good mix there. But you look at the system and playing together, I think you see some of the growing pains and transition that's occurred on that offense. I think you're trying to still evaluate and make sure. I'm sure the coaches have a good idea of how they want to start the season at that position. But getting everyone on the same page and building a little confidence, I think, does lend itself to a quicker start to the season. And I know Coach Moore and his staff are thinking long ball, and Rome wasn't built in a day, but we're about to start the season in a few weeks, and you want to be able to put your best foot forward. So I wouldn't be opposed to seeing more bodies get more reps, at least early on, before you transition into, evaluating that last 8 that you're filling out the roster with players that are still competing.
Yeah. John, will you and Joel be on the call again Saturday?
We will.
Perfect.
We'll be doing it.
Look forward to it on the Gulf Coast Sports Entertainment Network. John Stinchcomb, former Saint Pro Bowler. We appreciate it, man. Thank you as always for the time, John.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Have a great day.
You too. It's our pleasure. Who dat? We're brought to you by Evamore. EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Always got mine handy. Better source of hydration, like I say all the time. Challenge you. Go grab a bottle of whatever bottled water you usually buy. Buy a bottle of Evamore. Drink them side by side. Do a taste test. But then also just look at that label. When you look at Evamore, it's natural artesian water. When you look at other bottles of water, you'll see maybe something added for taste, something added for electrolytes. There's additives. It's not a natural product. This is a natural product. It's Evamore, and it's a Louisiana product. EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Available online or at great local retailers. Find that retailer near you at Evamore.com, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further. Thanks to Stinch for joining us there. Parker Thune was here last hour, wrapping up our SEC fall preview series, looking at each of LSU's 8 SEC opponents. If you miss anything, get it on demand, AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. I do want to talk about the big trade that the Saints made on Sunday night, sending Colin Saunders to Jacksonville. We'll get to that right at the top of hour number 3. So that's coming up here in about 30 minutes from right now. When we come back, probably saw it, Big Ten Commish has lobbed out the idea of an expanded college football playoff. You know where I stand on it, but I'm not the one that's going to get to make that decision. But I do want to sift through what they're proposing and what the probability of it might be. We'll get to that next on AFR.
After Further Review.
Y'all, I'm so fired up. Started my second cycle of BPC 157, something I'd read about, heard about, studied a lot, and finally took that leap thanks to Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. If you're not familiar with BPC 157, Body Protection Compound 157, it's peptide, which peptides are just strains of amino acids that have been incredibly beneficial for so many people's different health and other overcoming different pathologies. The bottom line is you may say, Matt, Goodwood, I thought they were an ED clinic. They do that, yes. But they also have hormone replacement therapy. Like testosterone therapy is something that could be incredibly beneficial for so many areas of men's health. But also find out about their peptides, NAD+, BPC 157. They've got dozens of different therapies available that could help improve your quality of life. And remember, lowest prices, never any contracts. Let me say that again. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Start your journey today. YourGoodwood.com. YourGoodwood.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item. We prominently feature it in social media, on our website.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Tune in for the third and final installment of the SEC Radio Network's Battle for Atlanta show, previewing the 2025 football season. It's the Battle for Atlanta, Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I actually did listen to some of that this past Saturday.
Yeah, good stuff.
I was driving Drew here to ride the elevators, and that was on, so listen to it. Really was good. It was a good show. Got to hear Marty Smith.
I was about to say, who's on it?
They did a segment with Marty Smith. Heard a segment with John McDade, the head of officiating for the Southeastern Conference. I'm trying to think, what's one of the big rule changes they discussed?
Was it the injury thing, the faking of the injury?
Yes, it was the faking of the injury. So this year, if you fake an injury, after the ready for play whistle, right? So whistle is blown, ready for play, and if a defender just falls down, boom, team's charged with a timeout. Like that I think will significantly reduce that behavior. I think last year, if you remember, late in the season, Greg Sankey put out a statement and basically said, hey, like, have a little integrity. Stop with the foolishness. I'm simplifying it, but that's, remember, like, he put out a statement that basically said, stop being idiots. Carry yourselves a little more dignity. And it did dramatically reduce. I mean, Kiffin and Ole Miss were the chief offenders. Everybody did it. I'm not trying to just point the finger at them, although that's an easy target, but they were the chief offenders. But you're going to cost a team a timeout. Like that is a significant penalty, because even still, remember, you have to have a timeout to be able to challenge a play as well. So like if you're burning through your timeouts, you may get to an end game scenario where you don't have a timeout, you can't challenge a play. So yeah, I do think that will, I think it will deter that behavior to a degree. I thought you were going to read one of the promos for LouisianaSports.net.
Well, yeah, I was.
Oh, the one for the partners page?
Yeah.
Our partners?
I was just kind of like scanning them there real quick. I mean, we
awesome.
decided to do that right when we came back, and I just.
Way to tell everybody. Good job. You
settled on that one.
It's radio. It's theater of the mind.
We'll
they,
do the.
They don't know if you don't tell them.
We'll do the Louisiana Sports Partners next.
I'll do it right now.
1 year.
If you go to LouisianaSports.net, our partners at the top of the page. All the live reads that we do, all of our sponsors, if you're ever interested, you go to the Our Partners page at the top at LouisianaSports.net, and then click on the show, OTB, Live at Lunch on Palmer, AFR, and boom, they're all right there. So thanks to all of our sponsors that have been great partners of ours here, not only on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, but of course also at LouisianaSports.net. We had 1 year of LouisianaSports.net yesterday. So very August 17th we launched, and so we made 1 year yesterday, and we have when we got to December of 2024, so this past December, we had already hit our December 25 page view targets. Like I would have to go back and look at because when we were launching, they had me put out like a 3-year projection for page views and visits and monetization and everything. And that's pretty incredible. So thank you to everyone who continues to read LouisianaSports.net. Our objective was at the beginning and continues to be to give you quality content for free. There's no paywalls. There's no article limits. There's no pop-ups. There's no freemium. It's just free. And we hope to do great content, hope you support it, and hope great advertisers want to be part of it and sponsor it. So thanks to everyone who continues to be part of our team over there at LouisianaSports.net. The Big Ten's making waves because Ross Dellinger had a report over the weekend that the Big Ten executives are now starting to, as they put it, socialize. They're spreading out these ideas of 24 and 28 team college football playoff brackets that would feature as many as 7 AQs for the Big Ten, the SEC, 5 each for the Big 12, the ACC, and 2 for the best group of 6 programs, and then 2 at-large selections, a 7-7, 5-5, 2-2 model, whatever. What did Greg Sankey call it at Media Days? It's the number game or whatever, the number box, the old SNL skit. The exchange game. It's the exchange game. The number exchange. I know all of the feedback I've seen on this have been people talking about how it would just devalue the regular season. It would crush the most valuable and meaningful regular season in sports. And I just don't understand why. I mean, I know what it is. I know intuitively and inherently what it is. It is people that have been force-fed a narrative. We have all been force-fed this narrative our entire lives, that college football is the most meaningful regular season and all that stuff. And I just could not disagree more with that. And it's not even necessarily an opinion. It's factual. You cannot tell me that a regular season is meaningful when you can win every game you play and not have a chance to play for a championship. And that's what we had for decades in college football. And we're getting to a point now where we're having an actual real playoff. And you can decide it on the field instead of a hotel ballroom, as I'm fond of saying, in suburban Dallas with a bunch of self-important blowhards that are debating things like game control and defensive efficiency. Like, why can't we have an encompassing playoff where before the season starts, we know how, like whatever power rating we're going to use to determine the field, and then you actually go play it out on the field? What's wrong with 24 or 28? Like, why is that so abhorrent? Everyone loves March Madness. There's 68 teams. 68 team ain't got a shot in hell. There's a handful of teams that could actually win the national championship. Everybody loves March Madness. The NFL has playoffs. The NBA has every college. The FCS has a playoff. Like, why do we think that major college football, when every other sport in the history of everything has an actual playoff, that everyone else is wrong and college football has it right? I mean, I can't help but think of great teams. Like, what if there was an actual playoff in 2006 with Jamarcus Russell and LaRon Landry and Dwayne Bowe and Buster Davis and Glenn Dorsey and that team? Like, who would have – I mean, Florida ended up beating the hell out of Ohio State for the national championship. Do you think anybody would have wanted any part of that LSU team by the end of the season? And you could say, well, then you got to win in the regular season. That's fine if everyone was playing an equitable schedule. But we don't have that in college football. We have Indiana who can buy their way out of a series with Virginia to schedule a directional state school because the committee told them last year, all you got to do, go 11-1. Lose to the only ranked team on your opponent, we're still going to put you in the playoff, you go 11-1. Like, that's the message the committee sent. Where's the incentive to actually play a tough, equitable schedule across the board? It doesn't exist. So, have a system where Indiana at 11-1 can get in, and so can South Carolina and Alabama and Ole Miss, teams that were 9-3 that last year, that had an argument, and you could say to Ole Miss, okay, well, don't lose to Kentucky. And you're right. Don't lose to Kentucky. There's no doubt. Don't lose on the road at LSU. Flip it and say, if Indiana had played Ole Miss's schedule, are they any better than 9-3? I don't think so. I watched Indiana play two ranked teams, got their ass kicked in both games. So unless and until you have an equitable schedule across the board, which I don't think is even possible, you have to have an expanded playoff to let this thing happen on the field. So 4 was better than 2. 12 is better than 4. And if we go to 16, I'll be fired up for that. And if the day comes where we get to 24, 28, 32, I'll be pumped for that too. Because you're never going to convince me that more football, more actual games to determine things on the field is a worse option than having these self-important dorks sit in a hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas with Honey Boo Boo and what's-his-face running out there every week telling us their updated rankings and why, just contradicting each other constantly, why that's a better path forward. It's just not. Give me a true, actual playoff. And we're getting closer to it in college football. And as much as some people may push back against it, we're going to keep watching, and we're going to love it because it's going to create more theater and better matchups and more content that we're going to be able to watch and more intrigue throughout. You mean to tell me 2001 LSU? 2001 LSU, which won the SEC, and I understand you could say they would have been an auto berth by winning the conference, which is true. But wouldn't you have loved to have seen that team by the end of that season with Rohan and Josh Reed and Michael Clayton and Robert Royal and LeBrandon Tofield slanging that thing all over the yard? Nobody wanted to play that team at the end of the year. Brady James and Trev Falk, my God. I'm not saying they would have beaten that 0-1 Miami team. But you don't think that would have been a fun playoff run to watch with that team? Come on. And every team in college football has their version of that team that could have gone on a run if they would have had the opportunity. But for whatever reason, didn't have the opportunity because of the system that exists. So, yeah, man, look, you can look at 24-28 and scoff and hate it and all that sort of stuff. But I think it's just what's been programmed in your brain your whole life. And people are resistant to change. Instead of thinking of how awesome that would be to actually see a true college football playoff bracket and watch those games play out on college campuses throughout the month of December. Hell yeah. Inject that into my veins. Please give me that. All right, it's after further review. I'll step off my soapbox. We'll continue. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. 2025 Atlas, 2.9% APR for 60 months or $3,500 retail customer bonus. You get that right now at South Point Volkswagen. I tell you all the time. They have the most inventory, so they can give you the best deals, and they got the best selection. If they don't have exactly what you want, they'll find it for you. It's South Point Volkswagen, and they can give you better deals. So even if you don't live in Baton Rouge, it might be worth the drive because they can offer you a better deal at South Point Volkswagen. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, it's after further review. Knock out our final break here of hour number 2. We'll come back. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. Got to talk about the Saints trading Colin Saunders. We'll get to that here in about 15 minutes from right now. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. They are complete employer solutions. Hey, if you're a business owner and you're struggling to find the people to make your business the most efficient, listen, the hiring market right now is tough. You hear from business owners all the time, especially post-COVID. The world changed at COVID, and every business owner at some point has struggled finding the right people for the right positions. You can keep trying to do it yourself and keep making mistakes and keep losing productivity and keep costing your business more money and opportunity costs and others, or you can call Glow Resources and do it once. Because at Glow Resources, they guarantee that they're going to find the right person for your business. If they don't, they'll find you another employee for free, or they'll give you a prorated refund. What do you have to lose? Find the right people for those jobs in your business. Check them out online at glowresources.com, glowresources.com. G-L-O, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Muso, Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Couple transactions to get to before some baseball. On Monday, the Atlanta Falcons released wide receiver DJ Chark. Chark, of course, for 2 preseason games, had 1 catch for 11 yards. He was a second-round pick in 2018. He spent time with the Jaguars, the Lions, the Panthers, and the Chargers. now looks to find his next team as the Falcons cut ties. Malik Neighbors has not practiced in 11 days for the New York Football Giants. It's now being characterized as a back injury, quote, normal camp tightness. They don't seem to be too worried about it, but still 11 straight days without practice. That includes their first 2 preseason games. We'll see as we inch closer to the season if Neighbors does, in fact, make a return. The Cincinnati Reds over the weekend designated Jake Fraley for assignment. They stink for that, by the way. He was hitting .232, 6 bombs, and 23 RBI in 67 games. Did suffer an injury in his final game for the Reds before they made the decision. Terry Francona said that did not factor into the move. Couple Tigers on rehab assignment are now back with the big club. Dylan Cruz is one of them with the Nationals. He was 1 out of 2 on Sunday with a 2 RBI double. Also came around to score and completely hosed the guy at the plate from right field. Aaron Nola was on the bump for the Phillies. 6 earned and 2 in the third, man. It's just been a rough year for
He's just
for
back
Aaron
on
Nola. Yeah.
IL.
That's Tigers in the pros.
He was wrecking people in the minors
He
last year.
absolutely was.
Well, you were out, but
Yeah, but we had a few of them before I was out, too.
It was crazy last week.
Yeah.
There was like 6 strikeouts in an inning and a third. It was bonkers. That doesn't even make sense.
about to say, that
That's
doesn't
like
math.
5 out.
Yep.
But it was something like that. It's
math.
crazy. I'm telling you, dude. Like, maybe you should go back and just pitch in AAA. And just wreck stuff. All right. It's after further review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Hour 3 coming up straight after SportsCenter. Don't you move.
AFR.
Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Buying land could be a great investment. If you're looking for tax savings, talk to your CPA and see if recreational timber property could be a great investment for you. And a lot of people that buy land already own land. So with First South Farm Credit, something Ben and Tim, they tell me about all the time. People who own land, they'll take some of the equity they have in their current land and roll it into a new property. So always great options. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com is the website. FirstSouthLand.com. One more time, FirstSouthLand.com. Go to the website, get all the info, find a branch near you. There's 42 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. They're near you. They work where you work, live where you live, play where you play, talk like you talk, so you can deal with someone here to help you buy land anywhere in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. Visit them online at FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parrishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parrishbuilt.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news on the ace of the NL East leading Phillies. Zach Wheeler underwent surgery today to remove a blood clot in his upper right arm. Timeline for his recovery remains unclear. One day after their 14-game winning streak came to an end, the Major League leading Brewers got back to their winning ways in the opener of a doubleheader against the Cubs.
Here's Terang, and he hits one into right, a base hit. Frelick will score. Jansen stops at third base. They're still loaded. 5-0 Brewers on Terang's RBI single.
The call on WTMJ, Milwaukee routed Chicago 7-0 in the loss. Michael Busch, Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow Armstrong all win a combined 0 for 10. Cubs do hold the top NL wildcard spot. NFL, it was something the Rams have been waiting for all summer. Quarterback Matthew Stafford finally back from a back injury. Practiced today for the first time at training camp. Coach Sean McVay did decline to go into details about the plan the rest of the week for Stafford. The Browns, as anticipated, named veteran Joe Flacco their starting quarterback for the season opener.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 2. Nope. Not hour 2. And I don't want to go back in time. Very happy to have one more hour of the show. Hour 3. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Murray.
Murray, present.
Muse. Oh, thought I forgot, didn't you?
I forgot.
I didn't forget. Mr. Toby Time, play. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. You always jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat as well on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. So thanks to everybody who's watching on YouTube. Please smash that like button. And if you're watching on WBTR, shout out to you as well. We always appreciate our TV audience in addition to ESPN Alexandria, ESPN Lafayette, ESPN Lake Charles. Just wherever you're listening, however you're listening or watching, we appreciate you for being there. Please know that. This was odd. The Saints played the Jaguars to a 17-all tie on Sunday in the Dome, and a few hours after that game, the Saints shipped Colin Saunders to Jacksonville. It was first reported by Tom Pelissero, and I guess it was odd because Colin Saunders played darn near the entire game. He was tied for the lowest rated player on the entire Saints team by PFF with a 29.9 overall grade. according to Pro Football Focus. But I look at this trade, and it makes so much sense. And I know Colin Saunders kind of has become a fan favorite for a couple of reasons. He had the fat guy interception last year against Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City on Monday Night Football, which was really cool. And then also my wife knows who Colin Saunders is because Colin Saunders' brother was one of the backup dancers on the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. If you've watched the Eras Tour, the We Are Never Getting Back Together song, the guy who would speak into the mic and be like ever, that was Colin Saunders' brother. So Swifties loved Colin Saunders. Brought a whole new component of fans to Saints football. Did you know that, Muse? Did you know that?
I did know that, actually, yes. I didn't know he was the guy speaking into the microphone, but I did know he was one of her dancers, yes.
See? Learn something new when you come here, Muse. It's what you missed when you were out all last week.
That's true, yeah. I didn't know any of that last week.
Did you know Taylor Swift released a new album?
I did.
It'd be impossible to
Yeah, I was about to, that's kind of just in everybody's
everybody
face, yeah.
saw that, yeah. So Colin Saunders going to Jacksonville, but I love this trade. So for Jacksonville, they have Eric Armstead and former Tiger Mason Smith on their defensive line, but both are injured. Mason Smith suffered what's described as a lower body injury when he was doing the pre-camp conditioning test. Bummer for Mason Smith. So they need help on the defensive line. And now they get a guy in Colin Saunders who's entering his 7th season. He played in Kansas City for the first 4, won a Super Bowl in KC, came to New Orleans where he's been the past couple of years. And he was a 3rd-round pick back in 2019. But when you look at the change defensively that the New Orleans Saints are making, Colin Saunders, who's 6 foot 324, he's basically as tall as he is wide. He doesn't fit what Brandon Staley wants in this 3-4 defense that they're switching to. When you look at the defensive linemen for the Saints, Christian Boyd, 6'2", 320. Brian Brzee, 6'5", 305. Vernon Broughton, who they just drafted this year out of Texas, 6'5", 311. Devon Gotcha, they just brought in, 6'3", 330. Jaden Peavy, who they just signed last week, 6'5", 308. John Ridgway, 6'5", 321. Nathan Shepard, 6'4", 315. You get the point? Colin Saunders is 6 foot tall. He don't fit what they're trying to do defensively. And it's evidenced by the fact that he played damn near the entire game against Jacksonville when all the starters were out. Brzee didn't play, Shepard didn't play, Gotcha didn't play, and there's Colin Saunders out there playing the whole game. So the writing's on the wall for Colin Saunders. I think it was going to be a real challenge for him to make this roster. I know that sounds odd, but when you look at Gotcha, Brzee, Broughton, Shepard, Boyd, it was going to be hard for him to make this roster. So you have an opportunity to trade him and get something for him. Awesome. So what they got in return is Luke Fortner. Now, Luke Fortner was drafted by Jacksonville in the 3rd round back in 2022. He played in every snap as a rookie, started every game in 2023, but after 2023, going into last year, he really started to struggle and he lost his job. This, by the way, was Doug Peterson, the former Jacksonville head coach, what he had to say on Fortner when they drafted him back in 2022.
There's a lot to like about Luke. One, when you meet this kid, he's wired the right way. We do like him at center, but he has the position flex to move to guard as well, which again, the position versatility is really good. And gives us the depth at the position. It gives great competition there. He's a guy that when you watch him on film, he can do everything that we do in our offense in the run game. Whether he's reaching a 3 technique or climbing to the 2nd level, he's got the ability to do that. He can redirect, and just a really good fit for our offensive line in that room.
Okay, so that was what Doug Peterson said just a little more than three. It was the draft in 2022. It's 3.5 years ago that he said those words. And the position flexibility, I think, is the key. Remember, this wouldn't have been necessary had Will Clapp not been injured. You brought in Will Clapp, and we all love Will, New Orleans guy, brother Martin, LSU, drafted by the Saints, the whole deal. But Will Clapp also played under Kellen Moore for 2 years in LA with the Chargers. when Will signed with the Saints, he came on this show and we talked about it. He talked about loving playing for Kellen Moore when they were together in L.A. And so that made a lot of sense. And the position flexibility that Clapp brought you as a veteran who could play center or guard made him a very valuable interior piece. And it sucks that Will got hurt, and I hate that, man. His season's over. He's on IR. And that's a miserable thing. Of course, I would have loved it to see Will Clapp be healthy and be that guy on this team. But when you look at what's transpired now after Clapp's injury, you went into free agency to try to add a body there on the offensive line, and they added an offensive lineman from the UFL, Mike. I always say it wrong. Mike Panasiuk, who, by the way, was, according to Pro Football Focus from Sunday, one of the lowest graded players. I think he was the second lowest rated offensive player. Barry Wesley was the lowest. Mike Panasiuk was the next lowest at 38.8. And so I don't know that you're counting necessarily on him. And then Torricelli Simpkins, who's the undrafted free agent out of South Carolina, never played center. And now, I mean, he came in for Clapp against LA last week, and he started the game against Jacksonville on Sunday. But now you're talking about a guy that was a third-round pick in Luke Fortner. That was a third-round pick, has been a starting center in the NFL. He's only allowed 4 sacks in 3 years in the NFL. He played every snap as a rookie, started every game as a second-year player, and then lost his job. So I'm not telling you he's challenging Eric McCoy. McCoy's, I think, your best offensive lineman right now. I mean, he's one of the best centers in the NFL. But last year in week 2 against the Eagles, McCoy suffers a groin injury, and you had to shuffle your offensive line. Well, in this situation now, last year was Lucas Patrick. Now you got a young guy who's still in his mid-20s, who's played a good bit of football over 3 years, who can play center or guard, and gives you depth at that position where currently you don't have a great option. And you got him by trading a guy that probably wasn't going to make your team anyway. So I like it. I mean, hat tip. I think this is just about right for New Orleans. By the way, Simpkins looked at his PFF grades against the Chargers. He had a 63. Against Jacksonville, he graded a 52. His pass block grade against Jacksonville was a 37. So I don't think Torricelli Simpkins is pushing to make the roster. And now you get a guy that's a young veteran that can back up Eric McCoy, and I like it. So not necessarily a trade that's going to define or change the New Orleans Saints season, but it's a position of need, especially given the mash unit that was the offensive line a year ago and how much rotation you saw and how poorly they're currently playing in the preseason. You had a guy with young veteran to add some depth there. It's a good trade for the New Orleans Saints. All right, we're right about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Back to school time. Make sure you get that eye exam scheduled for your son or your daughter this school year before. Well, I mean, it's already back to school, but it's not too late. Remember, the Williamson Eye Center has 8 locations: Baton Rouge, Denham Springs, River Parishes down in Lutcher, Zachary, St. Francisville. So you're up there in St. Francisville. You got your own location now. You don't have to drive down to Zachary. It's the Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEye.com to schedule that eye exam. WilliamsonEye.com. They can fill your prescription for contacts or eyeglasses. And if you're looking to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, there's a refractive procedure for every refractive issue. Just go through that consultation with the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. Otterlocks are posted over at LouisianaSports.net. So if you want them, they're live right now over at LouisianaSports.net. Jimmy will be here in about 30 minutes from right now as we'll wrap up the show with Jimmy's picks for Otterlocks. LSU practice today. If you missed the practice report in hour 1, I'll give you a quick recap of what you missed. Also, just a few little tidbits from Saturday's scrimmage. I was not there. It was not open to the media, but I've talked to a few people that were, and I passed along a few notes. We'll get to that as we continue here on AFR.
AFR.
As we inch closer to football season, I mean, we're less than 2 weeks away. Of course, we're 3 weeks away from the home opener for LSU. Remember the Watermark and the Renaissance. The Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Of course, Renaissance is where the Tigers stay every Friday before every home game. So You got family or friends coming in town. They want to stay where the Tigers stay. Make sure they book a room at the Renaissance Baton Rouge right there on Bluebonnet. Don't forget about Watermark Baton Rouge. Watermark, which this fall is celebrating 100 years, the centennial, not of the hotel, but of the building. That building's been standing for 100 years in downtown Baton Rouge, and they've kept so much of the historical significance of that building while adding the modern amenities. What an awesome place. Watermark Baton Rouge is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. So if you have an event in downtown Baton Rouge, or a great place to stay on football weekends, convenient access via Nicholson from downtown to Tiger Stadium to LSU's campus, it's Watermark Baton Rouge.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Shout out to Craig Matt Jr. So it's going, actually, you could get 6 strikeouts in an inning and a third with a drop third strike. It's true.
Craig nailed that.
Nailed
like,
it. Heads up. Heady play.
Very heady play by Craig.
During Tigers and the Pros, we were talking about Moosehead Aaron Nola not having such a great day. And was that his first appearance since being called back up? So last week,
I can check real quick.
Thank you. When Muse was out, Nola was just mowing dudes down in AAA or wherever he was in his rehab start. It was just unfair. And he had a little bit of a rough outing yesterday that Muse talked about during Tigers and the Pros.
That was his first time back.
Okay, first time back, yeah. So, can you find? I don't know if you can find. You'd have to dig it up, like what he did in his last rehab outing. You know, I was like, it was crazy. He struck out like 6 dudes in an inning and a third, and we stopped. I was like, yeah, that's actually not possible. But then Craig noted for sure. It is, in fact.
It is
factually possible.
Yeah.
Did you find it? Are you looking?
Oh,
no, you're not looking. Okay,
no, I wasn't.
Yeah, thanks. 5:18. Ed plays, right, Paulie? It's 5:18. Muse wasn't paying attention. Wasn't looking.
Oh, yeah. He's out of it.
He's way gone. Welcome back, Muse. Great to see you.
Here we go. He struck out 11 in 5 1/3.
See?
2-run ball, AAA.
Right?
That was on Tuesday.
I mean, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
He struck out 11.
That's just.
You want to talk about the difference? Like, AAA strikes out 11, would you say? 5 1/3?
5 1/3.
Okay. He gets 16 outs and strikes out 11.
Yeah.
He goes to the show, and what did you say? He gave up 6 runs?
Six earned and 2 1/3. He punched out 4. He still punched out 4 and 2 1/3, which I mean isn't horrible. It's just the 6 runs and 7 hits.
I could go pitch in Major League Baseball today and strike somebody out. Everybody, they strike
That's
out.
true. Yeah,
they strike out or they hit
probably.
homers. They strike out or they hit homers. That's what they do. I'll do a Henry Rowan Gardner. I'll do a floater.
The floater.
I'll do the change up. They'll never see it coming. They'll never see it coming.
Was you, Mom?
They'll yank a 500-foot homer foul. It was you.
It was you.
It was me.
I don't know. Then again, I mean, we say that. I mean, the Rockies put Austin Nola on the mound, and he gave up 8 earned in an inning.
Did he strike anybody out?
He did not.
Oh,
he did not. He gave up
sure?
like 4 yaks. Yeah, I'm positive.
That was so good.
That was awesome.
Position players pitching.
The best.
Terrio pitched at LSU.
Against Auburn, wasn't it?
I thought it was Ole Miss.
Auburn or Ole Miss?
I remember watching that game on the Jumbo Sports Network.
Dude.
Shout out to JSN back in the day, before you could actually get games televised. Jumbo was ahead of his time.
He really was?
With televising college baseball. But I remember watching that game, Terrio coming in from short, having to take the tape off his wrists and all to pitch.
Yeah.
I think maybe strike somebody out.
We'd have to look it up.
All right, see if you can find
All
that.
right.
I want to say I remember an infield fly.
It was 2001, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Okay. I think it was 2001.
It would either be 2000 or
2001, yeah.
It would be one of the two. And I want to say it was Ole Miss.
Okay.
I'd ask him, but I guarantee you he doesn't.
He doesn't remember. Yeah, for sure.
There's just no shot.
I'll look it up while you're doing the this segment here.
Okay, thank you. All right, it is After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. LSU practiced on Monday. Of note, if you missed it, Carius Kern was working with the first team at right tackle. It's a big change. That had been exclusively Weston Davis at right tackle with the first team. So Kern had been working second team left tackle. So the freshman 5-star flipping to the right side of the line was interesting. During our viewing, we only got to watch 15 minutes. We did see Weston Davis rotate back in with the ones later, but that was certainly notable as that rotation continues. Harold Perkins was not there. I did multiple sources confirm to me after practice. It was not injury related. I was not given the explanation, just that it was not injury related, but Perkins was not there during the media viewing period. And Whit Weeks was not participating. He was there just wearing his helmet, jersey, gym shorts, and tennis shoes, standing about 20 yards behind the defense, just observing. But Brian Kelly said that's load management for guys like Nussmeier and Weeks at this point, and until we see something differently, we'll believe him. Michael Van Buren had 2 fingers, his pointer finger and his middle finger, his index finger, his middle finger taped together. I don't know if it was a dislocated finger or something like that, but Colin Hurley was taking the reps with the 2s. So if we get an update there, we'll let you know. We do get to talk to Brian Kelly on Tuesday. And then I ran through the first and second team defenses as they lined up. The most notable thing, I think, obviously with Weeks, with Whit Weeks out, Devon Keys was with the ones at linebacker with West. With Harold Perkins out, Jordan Gilbert was running with the ones at star. But most notably is that Mansour Delane and P.J. Woodland were your first-team cornerbacks. And I know Brian Kelly said last week they've been rotating 6 guys at corner, and they have very freely. But do not sleep on P.J. Woodland. He has played a lot, had a lot of run with the ones. I'm not saying he'll be your first team. Like, I still think Mansour Delane and Ashton Stamps will be your first cornerbacks out there with the first unit. But in a nickel situation, it would not surprise me at all if P.J. Woodland was in there. He's had a good camp. He is handsy, and he will grab your jersey and pull and tug, and he'll get flagged. but he has had a good camp as well as a guy progressing in year 2. And he plays with a bit of fearlessness for a guy that's a bit undersized and was a 3-star and all that stuff, but plays a little bit with that chip on his shoulder. But Woodland was running with the ones opposite Monster Delane on Monday. Now, I will tell you also, on Saturday, LSU held a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium, and it was closed to the media. So I don't have statistics. I don't have who scored. I don't have stuff like that. I have general things that people did share with me after that scrimmage. I think a couple of things that were notable. Really, an embarrassment of riches at receiver. Probably 10 of those guys, 10 of the 14 could be impact guys immediately if you need them. Damian Ramos was perfect on his kicks in the scrimmage. And maybe most importantly, coming out of the scrimmage, is that it was competitive and that there were no injuries. And maybe the biggest takeaway that I had multiple people tell me is the most impressive thing is the defensive depth that keeps showing. To have a really physical scrimmage, obviously no injuries, is massively significant. And I think that, by the way, you give a major credit to Jake Flint and the strength staff for the job they did this offseason. I think the training staff with Dallas Boyette, the nutrition staff with Morgan Acosta, and the way that Brian Kelly built in the recovery days and as he said, the acclimatization. He laid it out for us after the first practice, where they had a short workout. I think I asked him the question. I was like, was this intentional to go this short on day one? And he's like, they have all of their studies and all of their metrics have lined up to show the first 7 days is the highest count of soft tissue or occurrence of soft tissue injuries. So they want to acclimatize. So they slowly ramped up. They had the whole thing planned out. And the only soft tissue injury that we know of to this point was the slight hamstring pull that Jakeem Jackson had last week, and then he was out there practicing on Friday when we got to watch him. So I think they have been remarkably healthy throughout this fall camp, which is awesome. And the defensive depth is, I think, what's really showing. There are 2 spots on the field where I think this team cannot afford to lose a player. Garrett Nussmeier is the one that's obviously notwithstanding. I mean, there's just you lose Garrett Nussmeier, not going for Micah. The whole conversation about LSU changes. So that one notwithstanding. But I would tell you on defense, it's Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins. And both today were named preseason All-Americans by the AP. Whit, a first team, Harold Perkins, a second teamer. And I think they have really good depth at linebacker. Devon Keys and Tylen Singleton look like they're going to be really good players. They have flashed, and they've got a lot of reps, in a rotation, because after West and Whit, I mean, those are your next 2 guys. And today, Zach Weeks, everybody sort of stepped up a level with Whit out. So West and Devon were the 1s. Tylen Singleton and Zach Weeks were the 2s. And you look at this group of freshman linebackers with CJ Jim Coyley and Charles Ross and Keelan Moses, and they are big and fast and physical and athletic, and they look awesome. Like, the future of that position is bright. After Whit Weeks, there is just a giant chasm with whatever you would do next. And it's not to say those players aren't good. They're just not going to be an All-American, potential Butkus Award winner. And the same is true with Harold Perkins at star. Because what we saw today was Jordan Gilbert step in and be the star with Harold Perkins out. And Brian Kelly even said it last week. When he mentioned safety, he talked about 4 guys. And he talked about Halsey, Toviano, Spears, and Cooley. Not necessarily in that order, but the 2 transfers and then Spears and Toviano, who are returning. He didn't mention Gilbert. Gilbert is playing star. And if you look at Harold Perkins and athletically what he can do, tackling in space, rushing the passer, turn and cover, it is a dramatic different reality if you take 7 off the field and Jordan Gilbert's out there. And it's not a knock on Jordan Gilbert. It's just to say Harold Perkins is a special football player. So those are the two guys. I mean, I think everywhere else you have incredible depth and talent and experience on both sides of the ball. At receiver, I understand all the question we have on the offensive line, but you have great depth and numbers and talent there. They all got to work together. I get it. But the irreplaceables on this team after Nussmeier clearly are Weeks and Perkins. That's probably stating the obvious, but you probably saw that illustrated today when we went out there and saw their first team defense run against the Scout, and it's West Weeks and Devon Keys in the middle, and it's Jordan Gilbert out at the star. That just changes the entire feel and complexion of a defense. So keep those guys healthy and ready to roll come August 30th in Clemson, South Carolina. August 30th could be a great day to get by Supper Club before or after the LSU game or any night of the week. Now, they're closed Sunday, Monday at Supper Club. So they're closed right now. They're closed Sunday, Monday. They're open Tuesday to Saturday. But let me just suggest next week is the opening weekend of the college football season. 2 weeks, of course, is the first home game weekend. You want to go have a Friday night to celebrate? Book your reservation now at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. I am so excited. I'm going to be so excited to tell you about the new Sagrera cuts that Chef Layton's going to have coming in. Remember, I've told you this before. They buy at Supper Club. They get the entire cow from Sagrera Farms in Ethel, and they butcher it in-house at Supper Club. They buy the entire cow and butcher it in-house. The quality of beef on the cows they're about to get are off the charts, like almost not even gradable. When you talk about the differences to go like Prime and then Prime Plus, like it's almost to the level of Wagyu. It's incredible. Can't wait to tell you more about it when they get in. I'll be making my way over to Supper Club to feast for sure. But whenever you go in, no matter what it is, if you're eating steak, if you're eating fish, if you're eating scallops or lobster, you're going to have the best meal you've ever had in your life and a true Supper Club dining experience. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservation. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. I do want to talk about the PFF preseason top 25, and I don't necessarily care a lot about top 25s that are subjective. Everyone's got an opinion, and all this eventually plays itself out. But one of the reasons that I do like to talk a little bit more about PFF, similar to like the Las Vegas top 25, is there is more objective data that's woven into those rankings. And what PFF is saying contradicts a lot of what I feel for this season. And so it does give me a little bit of pause about some of these teams we're talking about. A lot of them that LSU's going to play. And we'll talk about that when we continue. Remember, Otterlocks in about 15 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Remember, I tell you all the time, it doesn't matter if it's nights, holidays, and weekends. If you're having trouble with your AC, call River City's 1 Hour Air because they will always come out nights, holidays, weekends. Love this 5-star Google review from Mr. Terry Hilario. Said Joseph, the technician, was incredibly honest on my AC problem. He thoroughly assessed the project, explained the process. He answered every question in a way that was understandable, very professional. Another 5-star Google review. How many times do you hear those types of reviews for HVAC technicians? Well, if you hired River City's 1 Hour Air, you'd hear them all the time. They got more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor because they do an amazing job of hiring, retaining their awesome people, and passing along that great service to you. It's River City's 1 Hour Air.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana propane dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right. How did Terrio do when he pitched?
Yeah, all right. So it was against Ole Miss. It was 2001.
Score one for Scone, steel trap.
Ole Miss won the game 23-10.
There it is right there.
Terrio came in and put out the fire in what was a 9-run ninth inning for the Rebs.
Did he get a pop-up? I want to say he got a pop-up.
So it was a shutout inning of relief. He walked a guy. There were also 2 wild pitches.
Okay.
And he hit a batter.
Okay.
The out distribution was an infield fly.
Yes! Dude, do not question my steel trap.
You did say that.
Yes.
Fly out to right, fly out to left.
Okay, so no strikeouts.
No strikeouts, a walk, a hit batter, 2 wild pitches, but he didn't give up any runs charged to him. He allowed some inherited guys to score, but no runs charged to him. So he has 0 ERA at LSU.
Let's go. I'm less fired up for him than I am for me for remembering that. 24 years ago, bro. 24 years ago, I remember it was against Ole Miss, and they got an infield fly.
That's a pull, I'm not going to lie. Sure. I mean, that's pretty wild.
My best friend, Dr. Frank Anthony Ski Batansky III, calls it the steel trap. My memory. I have a very, did you see the, now I'm talking about my memory, the attorney show Suits?
Yes, great show. Loved Suits, as a matter of fact.
So you know how Mike was, if you ever saw something or read it, remember, so I'm not like that, but I have a very visual memory. It's hard to explain other than that. Like, if I see something, I can recall it. It's weird that I do radio, which is an auditory medium. I mean, yet we're on TV and all, but if I see something, generally I can recall it.
Yeah.
Or that's how I recall things better. Like, I can see the pop fly that we were talking about. I could see Terrio taking the tape off his wrist. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know if it's weird. That's just the thing.
Everything except Hunter Fiducia.
Right?
Yeah, everything
Right?
except Hunter Fiducia.
Why did he evade me?
I don't know, because you definitely saw it.
I did.
You watched him.
So weird.
It is.
And that just fell into a black hole in my brain.
Guy ends up being a big leaguer.
No clue. Just evaded my awareness altogether. Those teams just must not have in any way been impactful in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's a tough one to explain. I mean, my goodness, I could tell you about Johnny Telechia being the first baseman on the 91 team. I could do the whole starting 9 of the 91 team, and Hunter Fiducia just evaded me.
No.
But then again, 91 won the championship.
They did. They were the first. I mean,
I probably couldn't tell you the 94 starting 9. 91, I got you.
Yeah.
I could do 96. Probably the championship teams.
Championship
yeah,
teams.
no doubt. Maybe that's just the impact. Whatever. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. I do want to get into this Pro Football Focus Top 25 where they have Clemson. I don't want to bury Lee. They have Clemson, the number 1 team in the country, by the way. So I'll get to that here in just a quick second. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar, championship health partners. What an amazing partnership that's been, not only with LSU and Our Lady of the Lake, but with us. I've told you I've had so many personal experiences with the amazing care at Our Lady of the Lake. Just here recently, we had a slight issue with Drew's feeding tube, and their incredible team there helped us out. I just couldn't speak highly enough of the outstanding care that we receive for Drew at the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, that I receive as part of the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Clinic with Dr. Curtis Chastain and his team over there. But it's so many different things. If it's cancer services, if it's stroke, heart patients, CV patients, they do it all at Our Lady of the Lake with their standalone hospitals, with their clinics as part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. They service Louisiana and Mississippi with access, convenience, and world-class care. It's Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Okay, so Pro Football Focus put out their preseason top 25, and they do have Clemson as the number 1 team in the country. And part of it is that Clemson brings back almost everyone from last year's squad. They're the clear favorite to win the ACC, and they're a national championship contender. Clemson has the best, PFF's best offense and 3rd best defense. Like, that's a thing that I look at, and it gives me pause. Because that is an objective metric. That's not someone putting out their subjective opinion of who they think will have the best offense. This is Pro Football Focus crunching their numbers and determining Clemson has the number 1 offense and the number 3 defense heading into this season. So they have them ranked as the number 1 team in the country. Texas number 2, Penn State number 3, Alabama number 4. Now, you know how I feel about Alabama, but what they feel is that Alabama has the best offensive line in the country returning for this season and a stable of good running backs. Now, it changes maybe with Jam Miller's injury, but I am still going to lean and go, great, you have an offensive line and good running backs, no quarterback, you're LSU in the Les Miles era, which I think that's what Alabama is this year, and I think they're a 3-loss team. Ohio State 5, followed by Notre Dame, Oregon, Georgia at 8. So this is one of those instances where the computers don't love Georgia. I say computers, their metrics don't love Georgia the way the pollsters default to the logo on the helmet. LSU's next at 9, mentioning Nussmeier as a potential top 10 pick in the draft, but say the biggest question is the rebuilt offensive line. And here's where we get into some that I have a big question about. They have Florida at 10. Lagway's a big part of that, but I still can't get there with Florida. I know how they finished in November, beating LSU, beating Ole Miss, beating Florida State, winning their bowl game. Florida State was awful. Ole Miss choked it away. I'll give them respect for how they finished. I cannot get on board with Florida as a contender. Miami 11, Indiana 12. Maybe we should pay more attention to what Kurt Cignetti's doing, even though they played 2 ranked opponents, got their ass kicked both times. Texas A&M 13. I look at A&M, and I like A&M for 2 reasons. I told you I think A&M's a 9-win team this year. I think they go 9-3. I think they're similar to what I just said about. They return 4 starters on the offensive line. They have 3 really good running backs, a quarterback that can run it, and I believe Mike Elko is a good defensive coordinator, and they're going to be solid on that side of the ball, and that'll travel. So I don't know that I like him at 13, but I like him. Illinois at 14, South Carolina at 15. I think if there's one team that is absolutely a lock to be humbled and sent right back to their reality, it's South Carolina. I do not believe Lenore. I believe Lenore Sellers is a great athlete. I do not believe he's a great quarterback. I believe losing 3 studs on that defensive line and an All-American candidate, Nick Emenwari, in that secondary, I think that defense takes a big step back this year. And you're not sneaking up on anybody if you're South Carolina this year. So a team that went 9-4, lost to Illinois in the Citrus Bowl, beat Clemson, but did so scoring only 17 points. And then you look at the schedule they face. I am not big on South Carolina this year. I think South Carolina is a 7-5 football team, and so is Florida. That's probably my biggest discrepancy with most of the polls. I look at South Carolina and Florida. I go, those are 2 7-5 football teams this year. With their schedule, the schedules they have to face, and the question marks that they have on their teams, I look at South Carolina and Florida 7-5 football teams. Arizona State, this is the PFF top 25. Arizona State, Texas Tech, Louisville, SMU, Utah's 20. Then Kansas State wrapping up the top 25. Kansas State, Tennessee at 22. Ole Miss 23, which I think is far more appropriate considering everything they lost. Michigan 24 and Auburn 25. Again, giant disparity there with Michigan down at 24. But how about Auburn? A team that was 5-7 a year ago. They've been 5-7 2 of the last 3 years. And here you're looking at a team that PFF has in the top 25. Maybe this is the one that Hugh Freeze can finally break through. All right, it's after further review, y'all. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We got one segment to go. Our Monday shows, as always, are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone. Check them out at ReliefWindows.com. Final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks. Don't you move.
AFR.
Fall is here, which means it is time to plant those fall vegetable gardens. You want to go by Clegg's Nursery? They got Johnny Naylor's seeds, biggest and best selection. And what a great activity for the whole family. Get outside, get in the sun, get some exercise, get your hands in the dirt, get your kids out there, grow that garden together, teaches them responsibility, something fun to do for the entire family. You can watch your vegetables grow in your garden. Awesome, awesome family activity. And by the way, like garden to table or farm to table vegetables are awesome if you've never eaten them. My dad's got a vegetable garden in his backyard that he grows. I'd highly recommend you give it a try. Clegg's Nursery has Johnny Naylor seeds. They've got all the fall bedding plants, your fall vegetable plants, beautiful fall colors and flowers if you want to get those in your flower beds, your patio pots. It's fall. Football's here. Time to start turning that season. Y'all, and Clegg's Nursery can help you do it. So buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Doing great, Matthew. How about you, buddy?
Awesome, man. Good weekend, and we are looking straight ahead to week 0. We got Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels tonight. You stinking kidding me?
Yes. How about that?
I don't think either of them are going to play. Or are they? Do we know?
Well, Zach Taylor, last I checked, I'm trying to do my last second follow-up on this, but Taylor said that the starters were going to play more than they did in that first game against the Eagles. So,
LFG.
Yeah, -3.5 for the game, but I'm going to look more toward the first half in that one and take the Bengals -2.5 for the first half.
Okay.
That's an add-on because we had to wait for the first half line. It wasn't available earlier when I put it into to Hunt.
Okay.
All right, the 4 that I did give to Hunt in baseball tonight is Skeens versus Gosman. Skeens got about 17 pitches. Gosman's got 2. So we're going to go with the Pirates. It's kind of crazy.
That one's underway. That one's underway, by the way.
What is the score?
No score, bottom of the first.
Yeah, no problem. So it was at -110 when we put it in earlier at DraftKings. So Pittsburgh, I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
Currently,
money line is -$1.21.
Okay, that's fine.
Still value?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, next one, Detroit and Houston. They are probably just underway.
Yep.
But you missed out on this one. Don't want to lay the 8.5. We had 8. I mean, on a total, that's a big deal. But we laid -8 over 8 -117 when we put it in.
It's -$1.21 right now.
At 8.
At 7.
Not 8.5.
It's at 7.5.
Okay, even better.
Okay,
even better.
Don't be a moron.
Detroit, Houston. There you go. Put more on it. So the Baltimore Orioles. How about this, dude? All the big names under the radar pitcher. Not so much the odds makers, but a little bit. They've adjusted some, but not enough. Trevor Rogers has an unbelievable ERA and WHIP for the whole season, but under 2 and well under 1, about 0.8 for that WHIP. How about the last 6 out of 7 outings? He's allowed either 1 run or 0. In that 7th start, he only allowed 2. So every time Boston and May, Musso can tell you about the stress level of him pitching right now for Boston. Baltimore plus 102 at Fenway, getting ready to go at 6:10 first pitch. And then finally, guy we've been riding, he's been winning. Got to lay a little bit of a number tonight, but waka, 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 waka. The Kansas City Royals are hitting. They're fresh off their sweep this past weekend. They've won 5 of their last 6. And Waka 6 straight starts with allowing 2 or less runs. So he's really been on fire as of late. So let's go with the Kansas City Royals in Waka minus 132.
Muse, we got to get a Fozzie Bear Waka Waka soundbite drop for that. The season's almost over, so let's get the Fozzie Bear Waka Waka drop before it all runs out. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
We're at Dozy Place on Government Street in Mid-City.
All right, man. Good luck. We'll look forward to it.
All right, buddy.
That is Jimmy Yacht. Of course, Jimmy and Hanny live at lunch. Weekdays 11 to 1 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Brought to you by Parish Restoration. ParishRestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. Sitting in studio today, I can hear the thunder clapping, the rain pouring. You got water intrusion in your house. Mold probably there as well. You want to knock out that mold, remove odor, Parish Restoration. Best number to call. ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com. They're a veteran-owned business. Jim Woodworth, Air Force vet, great guy, great friend, was there New York City post 9/11 recovery, BP oil spill recovery, now helping everyday folks like you and me at our homes and our businesses with Parish Restoration. You want to knock out mold, odor, other harmful pathogens, sanitization, ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com. Okay, y'all, that's going to do it for us here on this Monday edition of AFR. Shout out as always to Relief Windows. You miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. Brian Kelly, availability after practice tomorrow. We'll have it for you, and the Saints will be back on the practice field. See you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
Getting on down the road, remind you about Rouse's and our friends over at Rouse's. As we get close to tailgate season, are going to remind you to make sure that you set up everything for your tailgate over at Rouse's. You need party trays? Rouse's. You need your beer and wine and bourbon? Rouse's. You need meat to throw on the grill? Rouse's. They got everything you need with 70 locations. Lake Charles to Orange Beach, everywhere in between, celebrating 65 years in business and still locally owned and operated. 65 years later, family owned and operated. Love going into Rouse's because they got everything you need. They're going to treat you great. They support great local vendors, products, all of their Rouse's branded products. They source locally with every ingredient they can. So support a great local business that's been supporting us for 65 years. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app. 90s country and beyond. 100.7 The Tiger.